Morning. Today we're going to learn Halacha and Rambam Tefila. A lot of information in this Perek and these Perokim about Davening. And we're going to focus on an interesting Halacha here, which sounds like it's a hodgepodge of different halachas that don't seem to have a connection. And we'll try to figure this out together. The Rambam writes, Halacha Hey, Perek Hey, Halacha Hey. There are various things we need for davening, including tikkun hamalbushim, be dressed appropriately. So the Rambam says, Ketzad, how is this? Tikkun hamalbushim Ketzad, because he had already mentioned the list of things, and Tikkun hamalbushim was amongst them. So he writes, Ketzad, Masakin malbush of Tefila. He first fixes his clothing, puts on Tefila, umetzayin atzmai, makes himself look different. Umahader, and he's nice. Shenema shtachol Hashem bahadras kaidish. Okay. And he gives a list of things that you shouldn't be wearing. Don't wear your belts that are cover your head. You need shoes or something covering your feet. As long as that's the minig hamakim, that people don't stand in front of great people without having some form of shoe. And then he goes on another step. Ubechol makar lo yoichaz tefillin biyadei v'sefer Torah b'zroi v'yispalel. Shouldn't hold a sefer Torah in your hand or tefillin in your hand and daven. They should leave by Torah. That doesn't mean tefillin wrapped around your hand. It means still in your hand. Shouldn't hold any vessels or any money in your hand. So these are things you shouldn't be holding in your hand. But he can daven during Sukkot. You can have the lulav in your hand. Because that's the mitzvah of the day. That's like put in here part of tikkun hamalbushim. Okay? And when he was if he had a load that you carry on your head, which is common among certain places and people. Okay, depending on how big it is, either you can wear it or you put it down. Then ends the halacha. You should only daven when they're, wrapped in clothing and talis and in the right way. So that's the appropriate way. Derech kol hachachom. That's the Talmidei. The Chachomim and the Talmidei. There's no question. This Rambam demands an explanation. So let's see what are the issues. A number of issues that we pointed out, but we'll point it out again. This halacha of not holding something in your hand because you are torud, libay torudem, sounds like a din that belongs in kavanas hatfilah, which is what he spoke about before. Why here? What's this? Definitely doesn't seem to have to do with clothing, not a clothing. And then, as we said, he went off tangent, speaking about what you're allowed to hold, and then goes back to how the Chacham and Talmideim wore they were wrapped totally in their talis or in some form to daven. What's this b'chol makar? Well, I guess it's in response to that you only wear shoes in places that are about where it's normal to wear. But nowhere can you carry tefillin in your hand. Well, if it doesn't have a relation, why would we think that depends on minig hamokah? And if it's because of Torah, what does it have to do with minig hamokah? Then when he comes to lulav and he says it's okay to wear a lulav, to carry a lulav, he says because mitzvah hayay. Should have said it because of mitzvah, as we'll see soon. That's lashon. Okay, those are the problems. That one seems to bunch together halachas in a very strange order. This the basic problem in a very strange order, and the focus doesn't seem to flow. What's going on over here? So to understand this, let's take a look at the sources. Let's take a look what others think, and then perhaps we can get to an understanding of what the Rambam believes or says. The Karidin, the source of this halacha, part of this halacha, the beginning of this halacha, is in the Gemara in Brachos about dressing. Rishub Levi says, you learn it out, Shtachul Hashem Bahadras Kodesh, I'll take you Bahadras of the Becherdas, with a certain awe. My Dilma Emelach Hadras Mamish, Kihad Rabbi Yehuda, Av Mitzayin Nafshav Adam Hatzlav. Rashi says, Tzayin Nafshav, Mekasha Datzim with Godov, or he put himself, they dressed nicely. So that's where we get this Rabbi Yehuda when Tzayin Nafshav teaches us this halach. In Masechta Shabbos and Daf Yud, says Rava bar Rav Huna Rami Puzmeke Matzli. He wore a certain clothing because he said he coined the cross. You got to prepare. Rava put on a certain shirt, and he would stand with his hands connect the whole together. Umatzli, and he would daven. So here we use a lashon hika. The Lechem in our over here asks, why doesn't the Rambam bring the pasuk of Hikain? And why does he bring the pasuk of Shtachul Hashem Bahadras Kodesh? Even though the Gemara seems to reject that, and the pasuk of Hikain is pasuk. He writes that the pasuk of Shtachul has to be Hidur. The pasuk of Hikain is only another. Rashi says, "Shalayira kechosh." Because it's a hanog. It's not like you have to. All right, that's it. Mechaber in Siman Tzadik Aleph Sivav writes, "Derech hachachamim b'talmideim shlo yispalu el kashem atuf." Chachamim and their students, like the Rambam says. And the Ramo adds, the Ezam, when it's a serious situation in the world, you should put your hands together, you can put on nice clothing. The Alter Rebbe explains Ramo. He writes, make yourself nice in front of the neighbors. Beis Hazam, the cabinet of the Rabbi Shemash Chadar to me all of for year Gechosh. Chayvik is Yadav Zazim, name is Rabbi Virasa. And he's Rabbi Shal Yadav Zeb, Shal Zek, Adam Shaver, it's basic. That's like, yeah, you're really holding on and breaking your knuckles out of pain. And he says, they used to do this also when there was good times. But again, understanding is that the Ramah says of Zam Yesh Chabik is talking about the Chachamim. That's what it seems from the Alter Rebbe. Okay. The Rambam brings Misaken Malbusha of Tchila. Brings it first. And then any notes from the pasuk Yishtachu. And he doesn't say it's only for certain people, it's for everybody. It doesn't say as a minig, but or a chumrah. And when it comes to Leisfalo, there is a there. Now nobody seems to follow the Rambam. Okay. We can get into it, but I want to stay out of it because that's not where we're. Okay, now let's go to the main focus here. Just giving you a background of the halacha, which is important to always say. The source of the din of not holding anything in your hand, but you can daven with a lulav, that's a Gemara Brachas. Says, or you're not allowed to go to the bathroom, you're not allowed to sleep in Tefillin. It seems to be more of Sefer Torah and Tefillin. Amar Shmuel, but Shmuel goes a little further. Sakin, Umoyis, Vikara, Vikika, all these things are not appropriate during Tefillin. Rashi says, Shay, why shouldn't you do this? Because your mind is not focused. You're constantly looking at them, you're worried about them, they shouldn't fall. And the same thing regarding a knife and money, you're worried about it shouldn't fall. The knife shouldn't fall and hurt you. The kaira shouldn't fall and spill over. You shouldn't lose your money. The bread shouldn't get dirty. In other words, you're not focused on names, you're focused on things, items. The Gemara in Sukkah, Daf Mem Aleph on the base, says, Amalei Mar Baramei Mal Ravashi, Abba Tzluya Kamatzlebe, Abba, that my father would daven with the lulav. So the Gemara asks, and it says you're not allowed to hold anything in your hand that can fall. It says, Hasam Lav Mitzvah in Uvatarid. There it's not a mitzvah. It doesn't say mitzvah say yet. Hacha mitzvah in Uvaloi Torid Mohu. Because it's a mitzvah, you're not Torid. What does that mean? So Rashi says, what's the difference in lulav and other things? The dvarim sheinish a mitzvah lav dafke kiyam shein mitzvah loizim. Doesn't mean things are not a mitzvah. It was a mitzvah. There is a mitzvah. Mitzvah to learn, mitzvah to read. It means is that it's not a mitzvah to hold. Since there's no mitzvah to hold it, they are a weight. They are a weight on you. The kaveh olav maso mishras, and it's difficult for you. I shouldn't be doing this. I don't have any reason to be holding it. So by holding it becomes a burden. The lulav, the tilasa, l'kichasa mitzvahi. Therefore, what? Miteich shechaviva mitzvah olav ein maso v'shimura kaved olav l'etar. Since I enjoy it, I'm doing something that's appropriate and productive and the mitzvah. Therefore, it's not a weight on me. It's not a burden on me. It's not considered a burden. It would sound in Rashi here, not like what he wrote in Brachas that you're not focused. It's the burden of it that takes me off my game of davening. Whereas when I'm carrying something that's a mass, not a mass, so you're not torrid in the mass. It's the mass that makes you torrid. It's not that I'm worried it's going to fall. It's the fact that it's a mass. So that's what it seems. Perhaps to bring those two Rashis together, that when it's a masa, then you're worried about it falling. When it's not a masui, when it's something that not that you just don't even think about it because you're so engrossed in the chavivus of the mitzvah. The Ritva asks, I can't. Because it's a mitzvah, he's going to think about it. He's going to worry about the mitzvah. As long as Hashem Yichud, he's going to think about the mitzvah. And then you're not going to be able to think about davening. And he answers, yeah, so you are going to think about it, but that doesn't bother you because it's okay to think about it. Okay, since I'm thinking about a mitzvah, it's going to be good that I should think also about davening. I should want to be connected today. What do you have mitzvah? What's a mitzvah? He doesn't say that, but that's I guess. Well, a mitzvah is it stares, but it stares you in a positive way. I'm thinking about mitzvahs. And it's not kedai, right? It's not worth taking it away. Have the chiv mitzvah. That chiv mitzvah is going to excite you, and for that'll give you even an impetus to think about the davening. It's an interesting process. Does disturb, but the disruption is in a good aspect, and that good aspect is going to cause you to daven better. To say that Rashi also. Okay. It's a bottom line. According to Rashi, there's nothing bothering you when you're holding a mitzvah, because you're now focused. It's such a it like lifts you up, so you're not thinking about it. There's also it is bothering you, but that bothering is okay. Incredible different ways of understanding halacha. Now, Mechaber in that simon, Sadek brings the lashon tur, comes from Valley Eichas with the other tefillin, we say from the kiss hakodesh like Kaira. Neshalibe aleim shal yitlu v'yitru is about like Avnas. Lulav bizmanei muter lachas v'yada kim shachiz v'yada mitzvah einay nitru. Sounds more like Rashi. Okay, but it's clear that what the problem is, you can't focus on davening, or you're going to be able to focus. Now, the Bach comes up with three categories. There are those things that have a serious tirda. You may drop tefillin or a sefer Torah, or it's going to damage you, or you're going to lose money. Usher. And the Bach says if you're holding any of those things during davening, you got to daven again. Then there is the other extreme, lulav, which is a mitzvah, doesn't bother you at all. Then there are things in the middle that are not a mitzvah, but you're not really worried about them. It's b'diavad yatsa, and you don't have to daven again. It's a Bach inside the club. The Taz argues on him that this whole halacha is only chatchila, but b'diavad you don't have to daven again. It goes into a lot of discussion. Whether you daven again. But they're nothing, and this is definitely not. Okay, so these are the approaches, but you see how the issue is obviously an issue of kavanas hatfila, which leads us back to the Rambam, which doesn't fit. Rambam doesn't tell us what the issue is. He just says Torah boom. And he doesn't say what the solution is. He just says mitzvah. Perhaps it would seem that the Rambam's stress of mitzvah is not chavivus mitzvah, because any mitzvah is chav. Mitzvah hayoyim is something more than chav. To note that the Shulchan Aruch divides these two halachas. that the Rambam combines into one of tikkun begodim and the halacha of carrying anything with while davening, the two separate siman. Siman Tzaddik Aleph, they begin with the God of Ketzad and brings all the things you're supposed to wear. Siman Tzaddik Vav, it brings about holding things during davening. And as we said, the Rambam brings them all together. Perhaps the Rambam has a very different take on this whole thing. As we know, the Rambam, we're not going to get into now the whole issue, but the Rambam's focus of davening is, and it's the focus of davening in general, but the way the Rambam sees it, the main idea of davening is uimid lufnei HaMelech. It's standing in front of the king. And if a person is standing in front of the king, nothing will stop him from being mechaber. However, there's things that just don't fit into your status of standing in front of the king. By holding something that is in general a distraction, you can't tell me that that's hadras kedesh. It's lacking in my presentation of myself. Now the older word is that I can't daven. I don't belong here. I don't look like a davener. I don't look like somebody who should be davening. I'm holding my money in my hand. I'm holding a knife in my hand and standing in front of the king. Now, could be, let's say we're living in a place where there are things that are around you that you need to always have a knife ready, or that you need to carry your money because it's a dangerous place, it's not a safe place. It says, no, this has nothing to do with minhag amok. This has to do with inappropriate presentation to the front of the king. And that's why this is part of Tikkun Malbushov. How do I look? Do I look like a person standing in front of the king? Do I not look like a person standing in front of the king? In other words, the Torah that the Rambam speaks about is not because it's not going to let me think. Standing in front of the king, you can overcome any of these things. But it's not a Shiur of a person standing in front of the king. And in response to that, what he said before, that there are things that are totally in what the people in the place do. He says, no, this is not dependent. This lacks in Hadras Kodesh. Oh, that's the case. Lulav is not because it does less, it takes away the tirda. According to the Rambam, no, because it's mitzvah. This is what's the greatness of today. I'm expressing myself with a love of the king. And that's why it's felt Nishan Hadras Kodesh. This is this Hidur. I'm doing your great mitzvah of the day. And that's why he's stressing mitzvah, IYUN, not stop mitzvah. It's not because it's a mitzvah, it's because this is it. This is appropriate to stand in front of the king with your mitzvah. I can present myself with that. So he's not making a hefsik in the middle of the halachas and going back. No, okay. Beautiful. He goes through all the dinim of what's an appropriate presentation. Tikkun Malbushov. How do I present myself with Tzayin or Lahadar Atzma in front of the king? And then he comes, this is a negayah to every Jew. And he says, now that I've finished the presentation of every Jew, derech kol hachachomim v'talmideihem is a separate halacha. Then he brings their halacha. And that probably is learned from Hikain. Now the Hikain is not the same halacha. In fact, we said before from the Rishonim that the Hikain is not, I think the Mishnah says that it's only a nova and perhaps only a hidur. That's why it's called Talmideim. So in summation, the Rambam here is beautiful, organized, and perfect. It's all about your presentation to standing in front of the king. Do I present myself as one who is standing appropriately? How do I be dressed? Is there a hadras kedish? Is l'tzayin l'hader atzmai? Am I standing out that I'm standing in front of the king? Or do I look like I'm in the middle of a business still? Or I look like I'm protecting myself from others, or looking to go check something, or go cut something up? You know, what am I looking at? Now, and none of these things would mean anything to the person, so who cares? He doesn't. There's not a stira. But if they are meaningful things to a person, meaning because they could be torrid, not matched him, things that he gets involved with, that doesn't fit. They can't think now. Now you think. Now focus. He's not worried about anything. But these are things that are matched a person in general. So, standing in front of the king like that. But something that is the king's inyan, and I'm coming to the king with it. That's hadras keidesh. That's beauty. That's tziyun, and that presents its presentation of a person who's supposed to be standing in front of a king. Have a great